Buonasera, ciao.
Buonasera, good evening. We're at the port in Dubrovnik, about to get on an overnight ferry to Bari in Italy.
Morning.
I think we've stumbled on a gem. We messed up. All like the traditional focaccia bakeries close at like 2 p.m. And we were having a late lunch because we got in anyway. Furious, so like we'll get a panini, we'll just look something up. This was right in front of us, and look at this. It's so flavoursome, but it's not greasy. This bun is electric yellow.
And it's bloody delicious.
Ciao! We've made it to Bari, which is a port city on the eastern Adriatic coast of Italy, down south. It's known for its beautiful fortified old town, being the home of St. Nicholas, and also a range of street foods and a very specific regional pasta, which we'll get to later. But we're going to start off with focaccia today. Even though focaccia originates from Genoa, I think, the focaccia here in Bari is something special apparently. And it turns out, after doing research, that where we're staying is about 100 metres from the best shop in town. So we're going to go for a little stroll and get some lunch. Ta-da! Panificio Fiore is over 100 years old. The third generation of sons are working in there. The family is Fiore. But the shop itself is actually deconsecrated 13th century Byzantinian church, but now just serving up the best focaccia in town. They only have one type of focaccia and then a bunch of other like little pizzas, but this one is just tomato, olive oil, oregano, and a few green olives. There's only one that you can choose from. They cut it, they weigh it, and then they send you on your way. Enough yapping. Let's get stuck in. It is really warm and fresh to death. You had to wear a white shirt today. Oh, I've got grey. Ready? So good. Molto bene. It's so crispy. Yeah. So flavourful. Really like chewy and warm. Tomatoes are so fresh. I'm happy.
So we're here at the Basilica di San Nicola. So St. Nicholas to some. And it's an interesting structure. It was built in 1087 through to 1197. It finished its construction. Now it's a basilica for St. Nicholas, who was a bishop in Myra, which is in Turkey. So what is this doing here? So it's an interesting story where his remains and relics were taken from Turkey when the Muslim population built up and Christianity was leaving in Turkey. Some sailors in Bari thought it was a good opportunity to go in and steal the relics and steal his remains and bring them here to his final resting place. In order to justify it, a story started kicking around to say that on his way to Rome, on a pilgrimage one time, he came through Bari and he said, you know what, this is a pretty cool spot. This is where I want to be laid to rest eventually. So you can justify anything in the end.
Most notably, St. Nicholas is Father Christmas, and this story derives here in Bari when he was passing through on his pilgrimage to Rome. He apparently did some good deeds. Whether it's accurate or not, we don't know. It's fallen into legend. I thought that Father Christmas originated in Amsterdam, but it's actually based off the story of St. Nicholas here. The few stories of his good deeds, one, he heard about a father who was very poor and so sent his 3 daughters into prostitution to try and get some money. Nicholas heard about this and so So over 3 nights, he dropped bags of gold through the window for the father to find. And on the 3rd night, the father found Nicholas throwing this gold into his window in little sacks and swore him to secrecy, that people wouldn't find out that it was him. Another story is that there were 5 children knocking about and had been kidnapped, and Nicholas comes along and saves him. So these kind of stories then lend this idea of his, I suppose, as a protector of children, and also the bits and bobs about him throwing sacks through windows. And then he eventually becomes a saint. And then other countries around Europe took this figure of Saint Nicholas and, twisted and bent it to sort of suit their own cultures. So the Sister Santa Claus in the Netherlands is derived off of this story of Saint Nicholas. And then when the poem is written in, I think, the mid-1800s, "'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house," the Americans sort of latch onto this idea and then give him attributes about a red coat and a big beard, but really it was fashioned off of the fact that he was a bishop in the first place, and so that outfit still kicks around. And in this particular region, when there's pictures of St. Nicholas, Father Christmas, he's always in a bishop's robe. So there we go. My waters frizzante, and I like my pastas named after body parts. The regional specialty pasta here in Bari and in Puglia is orecchiette, or little ear. It's a specialty type of pasta that's made from semolina flour and water. You don't let it rest before you form it into place, and it ends up being like a little cup that absorbs the sauce when you add it, but also sort of cups it so you get like an extra little dose in it. This street here, Strada Arcobasso, is known as Orecchiette Street here in Bari, where nonnas and women stay at the front of their houses and make the pasta in front of our very eyes. It holds a special place for me because it's my best mate's favourite pasta, and she's the eldest grandchild on her mum's side of the family. So when we go up to visit her nonna, Nonna Rosa will have orecchiette for us at the start of our lunch as our primi. I did spot a famous orecchiette maker called Nunzia, who featured on one of my favourite travel blogs, Food Insider, like Regional Eats with Claudia. And I messaged Claudia on Instagram. I was like, "Ciao, I'm in Bari. I'd love to meet you." Loser. She replied to me though. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Danielle, I'm in London. Say hey to Nunzia for me." And then I saw her.
Well, good afternoon. So we've done a little stop here at the Martinucci Laboratory for an afternoon beverage. What we're drinking is a Cafe Leche. Now, what this is an espresso mixed with, you can see it down the bottom, like an almond syrupy milk sort of substance, served over ghiaccio, which is ice. Now, this is local to the region. It's a Salento drink, which is part of the Puglia region. We're in Bari, which is the capital of the Puglia region, so we thought, bugger it, why not? We'll give it a go right here. And we'll give it a mix. Oh, it's bloody delicious. The almonds come through very strong, it's very sweet, and it tastes like coffee.
Early in the piece when we were eating shit, so I was like, you need to be more descriptive of what it is you're consuming. And I was like, yeah, I agree entirely. So now it's just a bit of a joke, which is what that assessment was. How's your coffee? can taste the coffee.
I'm gonna win. Okay, we're here in the streets of Bari and we're going to try some street food before we get to dinner. And we're going to try scagliozzi, or scagliozza. It's a fried square of polenta, and it's from Bari, and it's typically served outside of the St. Nicholas Basilica, which we saw earlier, on the day of the St. Nicholas. So we'll go and give it a go. It's quite sweet, I think. This is a dessert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those are right.
We've minced it.
We minced it, but we got half an hour to eat these before dinner. So there's a fried polenta
Yeah.
with a sprinkling of what looked like sugar.
Hopefully it's salt. I just want to rip.
It is salt. It's delicious. It's a perfect little snack. We're going to sit down outside the cathedral and have a bit of a bite.
Kind of just like popcorn. Popcorn on the outside and then just like mush.
It's because polenta's corn.
You heard it here first. I don't think they can see how like little.
I've got a really big head. So we're here at La Arpi. What's it called? Osteria.
Or
Orecchiette. So what's it called?
yeah,
Orecchiette, and it's got with bracciola, con bracciola, which is a rolled meat in a red sauce. So I'm really excited for this. What we also have here, I'm gonna have to remind me, Danielle. Pecri, scampi. Scampi obviously being this big fella, this big prawn here.
are you going to put on the amount of cheese that you do genuinely?
No, I'm gonna put on a cinematic amount of cheese.
So that's even cinematically you tell it too much.
Al dente, perfect little bites, and like we sort of said earlier, because of the shape of the pasta here, it just holds the sauce beautifully.
Ciao.
Grazie. So what do we got here?
Tarali, which is a savoury biscuit, generally with fennel. That's why I like it. This is another like Puglia special, Southern Italian special. It's always on the table.
What we had to walk was here.
It was nonna's house. It's dry, but it's almost like buttery. It's like a savoury, what's the Scottish that I love? Shortcake?
Shortbread.
Shortbread. It's like a savoury shortbread because it's really buttery. And then little fennel specks in it. It's just always on the table in any Italian person's house. An Italian pretzel. Let's call it that.
That's a really good call.
They're making me thirsty. The culinary journey continues. We have little sweeties this afternoon, pasticciotto. which is a little cake typical of the Puglia region, but specific to Salento and Leche, which is further south. And we're not going to make it that far down, so we thought that we'd try them out here. So it's like custard and cream. I've got a traditionale, and then I've got one with ricotta and custard and chopped chip. So we'll get stuck in. Let's see what they look like. Oof, this looks working out. I'm just going to open it up, crack it open. Ooh.
It's a really crumbly pastry.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
By the look.
And a nice creamy filling, and the icing sugar on top's delightful.
Is it sweet?
It's sweet, but it's not super sweet. It's like the perfect afternoon dessert.
Crunchy. I'm happy with this one.
And that is another episode in the bank for Never Not. It's been Bari, it's been brilliant, it's been beautiful. But Bari's not all there is in the Puglia region. So on our way out, we got ourselves a cheeky little bag of orecchiette. We made sure we went back to Fiore's, got another focaccia because we love them so much. And tune in next week as we explore the rest of the Puglia region and show you what it has to offer, because it is a beautiful part of this country. But Puglia is not all there is to offer in Italy. If you want to find out more about some other regions, maybe Lake Garda, click here because this is our Lake Garda episode. See you next time on Never Not.
Ciao, arrivederci.
Arrivederci.